your host Mohammed Zulkarnain. Hopefully you're all doing well. In this video, we will study about the concept of the cell. We will see what is the cell, what is the size of the cell. We will relate the cell with an example of a busy city. We will see the largest cell present in the world. We will discuss about the cells that we can see with our naked eye. And in the end, we will study about the difference between prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. So we are going to start a lecture with the concept of cell. First of all, we start from the basic. We are studying biology. As you know, the word biology has been derived from two Greek words, bios meaning life and logos meaning thought or reasoning. So what is the life? How can we define life? Whenever we are going to define life, it's so difficult to define life because we do not have a proper definition of life. For example, if we take the character of a movement, for example, we say that living life is a character. Life is a character that an animal possesses that are able to move. But in our surroundings, there are a number of organisms that are living organisms which they can't move. For example, plants. Plants are unable to move. So it's very difficult to it's very difficult to define life. So how will you define life? We will define life by a precise definition. And what is it? It is life is a set of characteristics that distinguish living organisms from non-living things. What are these characteristics? These characteristics includes growth. Living organisms are able to grow. Non-living things do not have the capability to grow. If you compare yourself with a chair, you can grow when you are 2 years old, 3 years old, you are small. Now you have attained a size. Now you have been grown up. So if a chair is placed 10 to 20 years, will it grow? No, absolutely not. It will not grow because it doesn't have the capability to grow. The next factor that life includes metabolism, the set of chemical reactions. What is metabolism? We will define metabolism as a set of chemical reactions taking place in a human body, taking place in any living organism. That set of chemical reactions control our body. Such kind of metabolism is absent in non-living things. Reproduction. Reproduction is the living character. Reproduction. You know that animals and all living organisms are able to reproduce either sexually or asexually. What is sexual and asexual? Sexual reproduction involves a process in which two different kinds of sex cells, gametes, sperm or egg combine and they form a new organism. What is asexual reproduction? Asexual reproduction means type of reproduction in which a single parent divides and produces an organism identical to itself. Okay? The students, I have told you about three characters and you can add it furthermore. Cellular organization. Living organisms have complex cellular organization, but non-living things do not possess that kind of cellular organization. One more character that you can add in living things is that of homeostasis. Living organisms are capable to homeostasis. For example, we sweat in summer and we are going to shiver in winter at low temperature. So hopefully you understood the concept of the definition of life. What is life? I'm again going to repeat. Life is a set of characteristics that distinguish living organisms from non-living things. So what is the basic unit of life? When we will question that, what is the basic unit of life? The thing who possesses the life. So we tell that anything that possesses the cell has life. So what is the basic unit of life? Cell is the basic unit of life, and more precisely, cell is the basic structural and functional unit of life. Cell is that thing that makes the living organisms and that perform functions in living organisms. So how can we understand the concept of cell? We will understand the concept of cell by relating it with an example of a busy city. As you know, in a busy city, if you talk about Pakistan, like you can consider it Lahore. Lahore is a busy city, Faisalabad is a busy city, Islamabad is a busy city. So you can take an example of a busy city. A busy city has a government that controls all the activities of that city. And so in the same way, if we are comparing the cell with a busy city, in our cell there is a nucleus. That is, you can consider that nucleus a government of the cell, that instructs all the activities of the cell, that controls all the activities of the cell. It is just like the brain of the cell. It is also known as the brain of the cell. And in the animal cell, it is present in the center, while in plant cell, due to the presence of large vacuole, it is pushed towards a side. Okay, so we talk about the government of just like the government of a city. We talk about nucleus, that is the government of the cell that inserts all its activities. Now we will further compare it. In a cell, there are structures that produce energy. What are the structures that produce energy in the cell? Mitochondria. Mitochondria are double membrane bounded organelles that are present in the cell, and they have the capability to produce energy in the form of ATP, adenosine triphosphate. And ATP is the energy currency of the cell. ATP is that thing that is required by our cells to do any function. So ATP is very essential for us, and ATP is our energy currency, and where it is producing in mitochondria. So mitochondria is also known as the powerhouse of the cell. Just like in a busy city, they are powerhouse that transport electricity, that deliver electricity to different houses, to different streets. In the same way, mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell that delivers energy. So what is the next comparison between a cell and a busy city? Some structures process and transport materials. There are some structures in the cell that make certain materials that are very essential for the cell, and after making that certain material, they are able to transport these useful materials to different parts of the body, different parts of the cell, where they further manufacture, where they further modify it. Okay, so if we talk about the cell, what are that organelles that makes the structures that are involving in modifying these materials or structure? We will talk about endoplasmic reticulum and Golgi apparatus. As you know, endoplasmic reticulum is of two types: rough endoplasmic reticulum and smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Rough endoplasmic reticulum has ribosomes. Ribosomes make proteins on rough endoplasmic reticulum, and after making proteins, it transports it to smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Smooth endoplasmic reticulum has a tubular structure. What it do? It transports the proteins, it transports the material that has been made in the rough endoplasmic reticulum, and then further released as a vesicle, that is known as a vesicle that is budded off from smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Now the vesicle that separates from smooth endoplasmic reticulum will go to Golgi apparatus. Now it will fuse with the Golgi apparatus, which is commonly known as Golgi complex. When it is fused with Golgi complex, the material that is present in the vesicle that was derived from smooth endoplasmic reticulum is further modified, and after modification and after certain changes, the material is released by Golgi complex as a Golgi vesicle. So in the same way, in a city like roads and delivery services, what's the roads do? Roads are used for the transport of materials, and the delivery services, if you talk about the delivery services, the major delivery services in Pakistan, in Lahore, you can see the TCS service, you can see the Pakistan Post, you can see the Leopard. These are the delivery services that used to deliver transport substances. Okay, so friends, this structure remove or build waste. There are certain structures present in our cell that are able to remove waste, to reduce waste. What are these structures? One of the major structures that is involved in reducing waste is lysosomes. Lyso means splitting, somes mean body. Lysosomes are certain organelles that are found in a cell that are involved in splitting of bodies, splitting of waste products. For example, if we talk about a city, such kind of structures are known as waste disposal units. If you talk about the waste disposal unit in Lahore, one of the major institutions that is involved in waste disposition is LWMC, Lahore Waste Management Company. You see that it is a company that controls all the cleanliness of the whole city, and assemble the waste products of the city, and then dispose it to a certain place, and then utilize the waste product for different purposes. Okay, so friends, I have told you in the start of the lecture that finally, just like a city has a government, a cell has a nucleus that directs its activities, as I have told you earlier, by giving instruction for every function of the cell. As in the center of the cell, there is a nucleus that acts like a bomb of the city. Okay, so friends, here we compare a cell with a busy city. Now we'll see the definition of a cell. What is a cell? The cell is the basic unit of life. Cells are the building blocks of living organisms. What are the building blocks? If you see a wall, what the mason do to construct a wall? He used to assemble the bricks in a line and then join them by a mixture of cement and sand, and then layer upon layer of bricks he constructs a wall. Similarly, just like a wall has been constructed by using a number of bricks, in the same way living organisms have been made by assembling cells in cells. There are different kind of organisms. Some organisms are unicellular, they have only one cell. Some are colonial, some are colonial. What is colonial? In colonial organization, some unicellular organisms live together. For example, volvox, green algae, and mostly organisms are multicellular. They have been made from trillions of cells. Okay, so in the same way, we're talking about cells as the building blocks of living organisms, including plants, animals, and humans. Every living thing, from smallest bacterium to largest whale, is made of cells. Thus, what are the smallest living organisms? Bacteria. And what is the largest living organism on Earth? It's whale. Its length is about 30 meters. Its length is about 30 meters roundabout. Okay, so you have to remember it. There are some organisms, you can't say an organism, there are some structure that are smaller than bacteria. We know them with the name of viruses. We study about viruses. Viruses are certain kind of things that are at the borderline of living and non-living. They have some factors of living organisms, they have some factors of non-living things. Okay, so they are acellular, so we didn't take them as a living organism. So after viruses, what are the smallest things? That are the bacteria. So in here we're talking about bacteria. Living organisms vary from smallest bacteria to largest whale. Now we will see some cells that we can see with our naked eye. What is the meaning of naked eye? Naked means without covering. A naked eye is an eye out of which there is no magnifying glass, there is no microscope, there is no glasses. Okay, so some cells are largely enough to be seen with naked eye. For example, egg cell of ostrich. It's an important MCQ, you have to remember it. The largest cell present in Earth is egg cell of ostrich. Some are unicellular, as I have told you earlier. A unicellular green algae. What is a green algae? If you have studied Kingdom Protista, in Kingdom Protista there are three kinds of organisms. One is known as protozoans, they are animal-like protists. One is algae, they are plant-like protists. And one is Myxomycota and Omycota, they are fungi-like protists. So when we are talking about algae, there are different kinds of algae. Green algae, brown algae, red algae. So one of the examples of green algae is Acetabularia. Acetabularia is the genus. Whereas we studied the linear system of classification, the kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. So second last taxon is genus, and here that genus of green algae is Acetabularia. You have to remember a unicellular giant amoeba. Amoeba belongs to kingdom Protista, and which category of kingdom Protista? Protozoan. So giant amoeba means large amoeba. We can see them with our naked eye. They vary the size of 5 mm. I tell you more about Acetabularia. Acetabularia have structure. It has a base, it has a stalk, and it has a cap like this. Okay. So students, in the last we will study about the difference of prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. Prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells have been distinguished by a single definition, that prokaryotes do not have a prominent nucleus, while eukaryotes have a prominent nucleus. This is the major difference that has been named in their names. Pro means before, karyo means nucleus. Eu means true, karyo means nucleus. Prokaryotes are those organisms that exist on Earth before the evolution of nucleus, and eukaryotes are those organisms that exist on Earth after the evolution of nucleus. So prokaryotes do not have prominent nucleus, eukaryotes have a prominent nucleus. We see the further differences. Prokaryotic cells are simple. What the meaning of simple? They do not have membrane-bounded organelles. And eukaryotic cells are more complex and they have membrane-bounded organelles. We will see the further differences between prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells in the further coming lecture. So it's all for today. Kindly subscribe the YouTube channel for further lectures.